Welcome everybody, it is now time for your loser bracket finals. Best of 5 between Na'Vi and Team Liquid. Let's get it on. Come on LD, you can do more than clap.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's
there we
Liquid
go.
versus Na'Vi. Best of 5. We play loser bracket finals. The winner of this match moves on to play the Alliance.
Yeah.
They moved it. They got there in style. They took down Na'Vi 2-0 gods, and they looked dominant in doing so.
Well, it was a great two-game series, I gotta say. Like, Alliance looked good, but
Yeah.
Na'Vi did as well. Like, you put these two teams in grand finals, and it's still maybe only slightly Alliance favored after that victory. Like, that was a close two-game series.
Yeah, but they took it 2-0. They convincingly won both games. They were never in any danger of losing them. They
It's
were
like, to me,
back
like,
and forth.
As a tennis player, it's to me, like, when you have you have your singles, it's best of 5 sets. You can have a 3-set match where, like, a player wins, like, 7-6, 7-6, 7-6. Sure, they went in 3 sets, but it was a fucking close match. And that's what that match was. It was 2-0, but it was, there was very little separating the two teams.
You heard them, guys. Fucking close. Well, let's get into it. Alliance is waiting. They'll be watching today, I imagine, but it's Na'Vi versus Liquid. Game 1 of a best of 5. The draft is underway. Our first pick for this game was an Elder Titan from Team Liquid. They're on the Radiant side. Na'Vi replies quickly with the Visage as well as Timbersaw.
Yeah, they've been going with a lot of that bounty hunter, and that's where Liquid banned it out in the first stage. Something we haven't been seeing in a lot of the Eastern tournaments we've been covering, but Na'Vi just execute and play the bounty hunter to perfection, and it really prevents you from going a number of options, like the Chen, which didn't get picked up by either team, getting banned out in the second stage, but Timbersaw and Visage, well, the Visage as strong as ever, and Timbersaw seems to be more popular than he used to be. Well, both these series seem more popular despite getting nerfs.
Yeah, we have not seen much Visage in Chinese Dota. We've been casting a lot of WPCAs the past few weeks while WePlay has been on hiatus. But Liquid, they're back from Korea, and, well, they are letting the Visage through the pool. Navi's still favoring it quite a bit as a pick, and we head into the second phase of picks now. They actually go for a Mirana, something that Na'Vi was running quite a bit of. They'd run Funnick jungling, farming the Ancients on the Radiant side especially, but they're on the Dire side here. Gods have not seen them play too much Mirana as of late, and maybe there's Na'Vi games I've been missing, but they go for it rather early in the draft.
It's one of the kind of the new popular carry heroes in some ways. Liquid themselves have run it a lot for TC. It seems to be one of their new kind of preferred carries. They've already grabbed his hero, though, so it's not really to deny it from Liquid, but
with somewhat mixed results, I would say, for Liquid. They've had some games where they picked the Mirana in the first few picks and just rolled a victory. TC safe lane Mirana. He doesn't really gank that much, and I feel like Liquid barely relies on the arrow at all, but it's much more just Moonlight Shadow, set up some ganks.
Yeah, just using it whenever it's available. Na'Vi, though, they've got two of their core heroes in the Mirana. Timbersaw, they can put the Timbersaw mid for Dendy if they want, but generally this is Funnick's hero for the offlane, which will put Havos on the Mirana, and they just need some kind of a semi-carry utility hero for Dendy at mid. They go back for a Sanking, so Sanking Visage, a very aggressive, roaming, ganking support duo, great in all stages of the game, good early game presence, mid-game team fights, late game even. These two support heroes don't really scale off at all.
Yeah. They're pretty strong late game. They have a lot of lockdown on this Na'Vi team and just good long-range initiation. They also have good map control with the familiars, which is very important considering the way that we've seen some crazy Roshan engagements in the past few WePlay matches, especially in the close games. That's where, for Liquid, they have a wave of Terror to scout the pit and the Astral Spirit, so they're in good shape there. Both teams should know if Roshan's up, if either team manages to claim it, but what are we going to see from Liquid for this fourth pick? They still waiting on it. They have the Luna Elder Titan. The Elder Titan should be Bulba's solo mid. He told me in a recent Skype conversation a couple weeks back that he doesn't really count Elder Titan games, Gods, because when he gets Elder Titan, it's an auto win. So
even with 6.79, or
yeah, well, he said he said the hero's definitely not as strong now because you can't do the Bottle Crow, drop the Spirit, instantly kill the range creep, and push the wave, but it's still a very strong hero. Bulba really believes in it. Liquid seem to believe in it, and we'll see if they're successful.
I think definitely still pick with them. You've got someone you can play it like Bulba does, but that guy's a character, eh? That's a lot of faith in the hero, and we'll see what Liquid can do with that. Definitely don't. You're versing Na'Vi. I think what may be an auto win hero against most teams suddenly becomes hey, look, maybe it's 50-50 now. We're versing Na'Vi, like
maybe.
But we'll see what the American boys can do.
A little rattled in Korea. They played Fnatic twice. They were both best-of-1 matches, but they lost to the same strategy twice in a row. So they just got done traveling. No excuses for Liquid here, but you do have to ask.
Look, they've been hyped up by a lot of people as one of the best teams in the world.
Luminous crowned them the second best team in the world. After 2 games, which I think they are definitely in that top 5 discussion right now.
We live in a house/city of fucking Liquid fanboys. Like, I love this team and all, but we have Lumi saying they're the top 2 team in the world. We had Purge saying they're top 4 in the world. And I'm just like, whoa, 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 whoa. So they come back from Korea as losers. They still a fantastic team, but they got some proving that they need to prove to Lumi and Purge that they're actually top 2 or top 4 in the world still.
I feel like I have to lock my door at night so they don't like cut me open to see if I bleed blue or something. You know?
I know,
and not EG blue either, but
yeah.
Liquid blue.
I feel bad because I'm a big fan of these teams and good friends with the players, but like I'm not going to be jumping to those extremes yet, saying they're top 2 in the world.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure what the Dota 2 lounge odds were, but I would say it's probably like 65-35 in Navi's favor as far as my personal odds. And Dota 2 lounge, well, it's 77-23. And the interesting thing, guys, is that Liquid's actually done pretty well against Navi in their past few meetings.
Yeah, they have. They've had victories against them, and this is something to me where I feel like Liquid, while maybe slight underdog, especially after coming back from Korea. Well, for one thing, they're going to be a bit jet lagged, but also just they're coming off a couple losses to Fnatic. Navi can probably looked at those games, although they were kind of best of 1 show matches, but they'll see a way of beating Liquid, and they're going to go back for a Dendi Templar Assassin as their 5th pick here.
Well, even before we talk about the TA, let's talk about this pick from Liquid. They went for the Disruptor.
Oh, yeah.
Generally, it's been a Bulba Elder Titan mid, but I know that in the past he has played Disruptor solo mid. This was a long time ago. You go back like 9 months, he was playing Disruptor solo mid when nobody was really picking that hero. And hero's got a lot of buffs since then, especially the Aghanim's upgrade for Disruptor is a lot stronger. But even outside of that, just a lot of his abilities are what's it called? The Thunderstrike does more damage. The Glimpse has a bit of a lower cooldown, I believe, and we'll have to see if it's a solo mid one, maybe if an offlane Elder Titan.
I think it was struggle versus TA a lot. You can't really put the Disruptor mid against TA. It's a big mismatch there. Thunderstrike, sure, you can maybe get rid of Refraction, but that's most of the chip charges.
Okay, so they go for a Bulba Razor, so that throws the Elder Titan still into the offlane, though. Not going to be a solo mid Elder Titan, and it then creates a tri-lane Luna.
Interesting. Yeah, depending how Liquid want to do things. Yeah, TC almost guaranteed to be in that safe lane, I guess, unless they go for the offensive try. And Liquid like to do their offensive try lanes every now and then, and something they can do. But against a Sand Visage Mirana, probably ill-advised.
Yeah, and you have a Disruptor, and sure the hero's gotten some buffs, but he is very vulnerable to getting picked off. Same for VS, just not the strongest tri lane hero. She's got fairly low range. She's a single target hero, but if they go for that, the other issue is that then all of a sudden Timbersaw for Funnick has a 1v1 against Elder Titan, which is a matchup that Timbersaw just lives for.
Well, let's get into it. We're going to see Team Na'Vi playing on the Dire side. It's going to be Puppey, the captain, the drafter on the Sankin, Kuroki handling the Visage, Havost on the Mirana, Dendi actually on the Timbersaw. He's going towards the mid lane, and that puts Funnick on a safe lane Templar Assassin. This, to me, was a last-minute switch-up. They were planning to put the TA mid. They see the Razor pick and say, okay, TA against the Razor, not a good idea. Let's put the Timbersaw there, because he can just use his nukes to actually get CS and farm, and slightly less farm dependent. And this gives TA a 1v1 against an Elder Titan a much, much easier matchup. That's what they wanted from the get-go when they picked up the TA.
Yeah, how weird is it to see Na'Vi picking a Templar Assassin and it not go to Dendi? Yeah. The last time Dendi was seen playing TA was in this tournament, as far as I can recall, and he went like 17-0 or maybe a 17-1 and 14. Ended the game with the Divine Rapier, 36k net worth, and he was 6-slotted and he still had money on top of it, it seemed. And that was with buybacks, boots of travel, repeatedly into fights, and, well, he had quite an impact. But on the Radiant side, we have Team Liquid, Team America, captained and led by Fluff and Stuff here. Way too sexy, going to be playing your support Disruptor. We won't see Bulba go solo mid on that, at least not this game, but maybe in future ones. TC, the Luna, that does put Bulba onto the solo mid Razor. And last but not least, Koikfa, going to have a tough matchup ahead of him, playing that off-lane Elder Titan against a solo TA.
Yeah. I don't think Liquid will be too surprised, but they'll see that, hey, it's Dendi on the Timbersaw. I think they just decided, look, we're going to stick with the Razor mid. If you put the Razor in the offlane, he's too prone to getting ganked out a bit there. Elder Titan, he can still match up okay-ish in this one-bone matchup, so they're just going to rely on Bulba, hopefully still doing well in this mid lane. He's got the boots first, and Dendi is going to have a tough time CSing. He should get quite out-farmed here in this mid lane.
So the bottom lane is going to be tri-lane on tri-lane, and I think Na'Vi on paper do have the stronger tri-lane here. Liquid just slightly less range, slightly less instant burst in these early engagements, a little bit more level dependent, but we've not seen too many offensive tri-lane versus tri-lane matchups in this patch, guys. We've seen some early aggression from supports, a lot of roaming, but I think I can count on one hand the number of true 3v3s we've seen.
Yeah, It has definitely not been too many. And, well, Liquid kind of lack the range with a Luna as well as Vengeful Spirit, both only somewhat ranged heroes. It's kind of, it matches up to the fact that on the other side you've got a Sand King. His Burrow Strike, at least at level 1, very short range, and it's hard to get up close for that one without it being very obvious what you're up to. So definitely going to be hard for either team to engage and go for kills. And Liquid with the Lunar Blessing, if Na'Vi go in at a poor time, they're going to get punished for it because the bonus damage on all these Liquid heroes means they hit a lot harder than Na'Vi's.
In the mid lane, Bulba's actually gone for the boots right away. He was pulled and started with them, whereas Dendi, no boots. Don't know how much he cares. He's got money for a bottle yet, not spending it, but we continue to see Na'Vi challenge this pull. Look to farm it in the bottom lane. They're feeling very confident in their ability to take fights, and with the lane pushing, TC won't be there to defend, so Liquid, they'll just sit back and leech a bit of experience, but for the time being, tri-lane looks pretty even on paper. The farm is going heavily, well, actually not that heavily, but slightly in favor of Favost, and we'll have to see if that continues.
Yeah, it's still very early days there. They're trying to just scout out Fluff and stuff behind this pool camp. They went in sort of like for a rotation, but he's well on point here, not giving anything away. And, well, this trailer, like you say, very quiet for the time being. As far as the other lane's going, Funix actually pulled off to the big neutral camp here, so he's getting extra farm and experience. And the big problem for Elder Titan is he's used all his early mana on Astral Spirit. So once he's out of mana, he needs to get a bottle out or a soul.
Bottom lane, Gravechill to start. They're looking for a Burrow Strike with a glimpse back. Is it going to be a time arrow? No arrow from Avos. Now he throws it just a split second late. It's Kuroki who gets stunned up. This could be our first blood. It is. Liquid strikes first. Na'Vi just not quite in sync on that first blood attempt.
That's where you go in and you at slightly off time, you get so badly punished. All these heroes having bonus 14 damage means they hit that much harder. And well played by Liquid. Nice defensive posturing.
Yeah, there was just that moment of hesitation from Avos letting the arrow fly. Creeps were kind of in range. He wasn't sure if he should go, and by the time he did, it was just too late. And I gotta say, nice defensive glimpse. They get off the Burrow Strike, but when you go for a first blood like that, oftentimes you do need every last possible physical right-click to get the kill, and just not able to in the end.
Well, that's a great start for Liquid. First blood kill actually going to the Disruptor, so that's going to be way to get his boots up, get his Magic Stick, upgrades the career for the team. And but all these trailing heroes, both Disruptor and Vengeful Spirit, can both afford their boots. We're 3 minutes in, it sounds like, fairly early, and this is something that we're now seeing in 6.79. Support's just so much better off early on.
Yeah, you give up the first blood like that all of a sudden, with boots on heroes that are normally rather vulnerable in tri-lanes, how easy of a kill is Way 2 going to be? Your initiation is Gravechill into Burrow Strike, maybe an arrow from the sidelines. That is just not the best, so I wonder how committed we'll see Na'Vi straight to this tri-lane. For now, they're leaving 3 bottom. On paper, their heroes are a tiny bit stronger, maybe, but it changes quickly with Luna having 2 points in the Blessing, boots up on the Luna as well, and you already mentioned the Disruptor having them. Even Fluff's got his too. I don't know if they can really take this tri-lane anymore, guys. They need some big arrow initiations here to make it work.
They do get a lot stronger at level 3. Having a level 2 Burrow Strike does add a lot. We are going to see, actually, Timbersaw, Denny taking a lot of damage in the mid lane. He's just trying to match up to Bulba here, but not exactly the easiest matchup. He's got a haste rune, so he's going to use all his bottle charge. Looks like he was just taking the damage quite happily.
Oh, they're going to run into Way 2. Sure, he's got boots, but can they get an arrow off here? It's going to fly, but the creeps are not cooperating. They block it, but haste to Dendi into the fight. He'll kill off Way 2, and then gets a free trip back towards the mid lane.
Hey, helps him get a bit closer there. Nice.
Thanks for that.
Nicely played from Na'Vi. They still had a bit of duration on the haste rune, got him to the rune, and, well, then he was in range to actually rotate in and help out. So, Na'Vi, they strike back.
Yeah, looking at the two solo lanes, the first wave or two, Koikfa did really well in Other Titan, but we see what happens as the TA gets more levels. The matchup gets tougher and tougher. Even though you get a little bit of damage from the Spirit, TA just gets way more from Refraction. You are a melee hero. She can somewhat harass you off the lane. You have no damage over time. You can't really remove Refraction, so safe lane TA crushing his lane. The mid lane Short's going the way of, actually quite convincingly, of Bulba. He's got 15 denies, but your Timbersaw, your melee here, you don't care as much about those, and Denny does help out the
They're almost even on CS. Like 20 to 16 isn't that big of a deal, and
he's like half a level down, but I think it's fine because they're getting such a good start on the
and
TA.
It's a Razor, so it's not like you've given a fast level 6 to a Puck or a Beastmaster, some hero who's going to just start controlling the game with it.
Yeah,
it means Dendy gets it slightly slower, but he's going to be okay with that. He's in no danger. He can't even be zoned out. It's not like, oh, Razor's level 6, I got to play careful. It's like, oh, Razor doesn't even get ulti at level 6 maybe, because right now Bulba hasn't even leveled it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So heading into the, well, towards the end of the laning stage of Game 1, because we've seen laning stages end very early in this patch, gods. I guess on paper you'd think, I would say that I'd still like Liquid's position a decent amount. Sure, they're losing the top lane pretty heavily, but You know that's going to happen. Mid lane, you're holding your own. And I think the key thing is they didn't get run over in the tri lane. Like, not getting run over when you have a fairly weak level 1 to 3 tri lane is key for them. And they've done pretty well so far.
Yeah, Liquid definitely done pretty well. The next 5 to 10 minutes is going to be the real big test, though, in my opinion. Because that's where these big, heavy nukers, your Sanking, your Visage, even your Mirana in the tri lane is a much more sort of spell-based kind of carry hero, at least in the early to mid-game stage. These heroes are going to get the levels and start wreaking havoc. TA is going to start rotating into places, and even Dendi loves to get involved. And that's where Liquid don't have the best defensive line. They don't have the like AoE counter-initiation type stuns. So if they get initiated on, they pretty much whoever gets stunned is going to go down because they do not have any kind of just backup. You can maybe glimpse one person back, but if there's multiple Na'Vi heroes diving on top of you, you're going to be taking casualties.
And the thing is, like, we've seen Burrow Strike coming out before the glimpse back happens. It's not an instantaneous thing. So you get off your Burrow Strike, you get off your arrow. Maybe you have a chance to throw one last Soul Assumption. Oh, no. 2 minutes from now, we may be in subs mode, guys. I think our potato might run out of energy
Kuro,
here.
Please.
Kuro, think of the children.
Oh, no.
No children were thought of this day, gods. No children.
Gone too far.
Absolutely. There's no going back now.
No, there really isn't.
There really isn't.
Perfectly said.
Yes. Level 5 now on the Luna. Na'Vi, tri-lane level 3, but they'll go in again. They'll throw the Grave Chill on TC. I don't really know that they want to commit to this Puppey. Oh, it's nighttime. If they had dove that, he gets a 2-3 hero Burrow Strike, and that's just a train wreck for Liquid.
Yeah, but Liquid trying to use the fact they have got a level 5 Luna is actually really powerful
Top
this day.
lane. Koikfa almost ticking down here. Barely able to live. It was one last right click away from getting the kill. He's going to have to go base. Bulba's been using the courier, and looks like it's just not free for him right now.
Yeah, he hasn't even gone for that bottle. He's had no HP or mana regen in his lane. So the phase boots help you last hit and all, but having no regen against a TA as a melee hero is just a recipe for disaster.
Puppey is strutted towards mid. Liquid do have an observer ward here. I don't think Puppey smoked for it, so yeah, they shouldn't. Bulba should know something's up. He's playing very defensively. He's definitely been spotted now, and well, despite Timbersaw having a fairly slow start, this is where Razor is not particularly elusive, and if he doesn't get TP backup, you can gank him and catch right up and get an easy kill on him.
Well, 6-minute rune spawns. Na'Vi are controlling the runes for the time being. Bulba not going to be too worried about that. He just wants to kind of bottle Crow and stay in this mid lane, but it means he needs the full courier attention, as you said earlier. Elder Titan can't get any from the top lane, and it just generally makes these other lanes a bit more difficult for Liquid, but Fluff and stuff needs to be careful. Puppey looking for a swing through here. He's got his own boots, but not able to catch on to a stun to get anyone in.
Yeah, there's a sentry on Fluff, which is where if Puppey does try to dive him, you can just go for the magic missile. If he doesn't have vision of you to Burrow Strike immediately, if you're quicker on the draw, then you can just sentry and quickly kill him before he's able to do anything. But Puppey, he'll make another move towards mid. Little does he know, though, that Liquid has a ward here and should have spotted this out yet again. Yeah. I don't think it's going to work.
Oh, they've gone in bottom. They know that the Sanking's not here. They're going to kill Pavos with ease. Meanwhile, Weichu's going to go down in exchange. Nope, the Magic 6 saving his life. Kuroki in trouble. There's another Lucent Beam. One more right click will finish him off. TC takes a lot of damage, but he's still alive. Here comes the rotation. Puppey coming in with the backstab. Is there going to be enough damage? It looks like with Funix, this should be an easy kill. They get the Luna, but I think it's advantage. Liquid getting the 2 kills there. Even if they lose Fluff and stuff, this will be a 2-for-2 trade, but Na'Vi having to commit a lot to this. Fluff.
He's going deep, looking for Fluff. Another one down. Funix says, forget Dendi. I can play some TA too. Gets the double. Bulba's here, though. It's going to be, in the end, a 2-for-2 and a TA dying unless Funix has a Blink Dagger I'm missing in his inventory, which I'm not seeing. Puppey wants to come in. Maybe they just say, you know what, we can get way 2. Even if Funix goes down, Puppey trying to find his way through these trees. He has no regen for Funix. He's in a lot of trouble. Oh, can they get the Burrow Strike? He tried to maneuver into position for it. He couldn't quite do it. He almost gets Bulba. Bulba down to 25 HP. Pavos just barely off the mark on the arrow.
They have a lot of heroes here all of a sudden.
They have 5 bottom. Their entire team has descended bottom for this.
They want Bulba. They'll see Bulba. It looks like Timbersaw Dendi should get this kill with these. Misses the Welling Death. Gets the Chakram, though. The leap coming in on the side. It looks like they brought down the Visage, but the Luna Eclipse doing a lot of damage. They lose Visage as well. 2-for-2 trades so far recently, and Dendi has got to keep himself alive. Timber Chain out. Oh, this is getting very dicey.
Koikfa's got the additional move speed. He's running Dendi down. I don't know if Dendi's got an option to get out of here. He tried to deny the neutrals, not successful in doing so. Meanwhile, Puppey's going to get picked off. It's a 7-5 just bloodbath in the bottom lane, and once again, you got to say Liquid coming out hugely on top here.
Na'Vi really committing to that dive onto the tower, and they got punished for their aggression. They should have maybe just left the TA to die there. I think they thought they could trade kills, but TC already level 7, having Eclipse, and having a fast strength creds. This is a nice extra boost HP, just makes them that much harder to kill, and, well, things get a lot harder. Meanwhile, top lane, WePlay going to get caught out. The Glimpse back not going to come in time. He just TP'd up there, so that's quite a big loss for Liquid. When you TP to a lane, if you're dying immediately, you're wasting a lot of time, and it means you're respawning, you don't have your TP scroll, and you just don't really have a whole lot you can do.
Yeah, and you get to the mid game, and they really do want to have a max glimpse, as well as, I think more importantly, just having static storm in these fights. Even if you don't like silence 3, 4, 5 heroes in a kinetic field, it's more just zoning the enemy team. Maybe you pick off that one quickly and then have a 5v4 on your hands. But top lane, Funnick diving again. I don't know that he gets a kill on Koikfa, but he is starting to put the hurt on. Koikfa can't really lane at this point. In fact, nobody on Liquid can really lane at this point, outside of the Razor in a 1v1.
What are you up to, Puppy? Gets the stun just on one here. Is looking for the 2, but Dendy's there as well. Provides the extra burst damage. They bring down Bulba, and WePlay now in a bit of trouble. Dendy not going to hit the Timber Chain.
Looked like it was going to hit, but there was just not a tree there.
The melee, no, that was the melee tree which he hit.
Oh, on
that
the
tree
second
here, it blocked like the Timber Chain.
It didn't even move, it looked like.
Yeah. It was in melee range, and it was like, oh, okay. That's not the tree he was aiming for. I was very confused there,
because I'm like, why is this Timber Saw not moving? But well, now we have our answer.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. He was aiming for this tree here. And
how appropriate that Timber Saws, that trees are betraying the Timber Saw, because Lord knows he's betraying the trees. So I think it's only poetic justice, guys.
It's definitely the other way around. Timber Sawyer's at the mercy of the trees.
They're going back in middle lane, though. Puppy's here along with Kuroki. They just want to keep on diving, and with Dendy here in backup, WePlay cannot defend the tower. In fact, they have to send 3 here to try and defend this, but they could easily end up giving up kills. With the familiars in this fight, Liquid just need to have good initiation and quick reactions.
Puppy is just constantly behind enemy lines. He's like a secret Russian agent right now. Some KGB shit going on, because he is like always like at bottom lane when he was just sneaking around like to try and help out the TA. He's always just doing all kinds of shenanigans to get in position for the burrow strikes, and he's catching Liquid by surprise with his movements.
They have kind of isolated TC now. He's on his own. They've rotated 3 mid to deal with the roaming gank, but here comes your Moonlight Shadow. They're going to walk right into TC. He's got Eclipse available, but they're going to chain stun as well, I imagine. The Familiars come through. He tries to Eclipse, I think. No, didn't actually use it. Just a Loosen Beam, and wisely so. There was no way he's getting that off. Meanwhile, mid, Denny loses a bunch of damage. They're going to glimpse him back. There's no kinetic field. He just Temper Chains right out. Top lane, Koikfa is getting stomped. Just both teams constantly fencing here and angling for position, but only a few kills coming out for all of that.
Yeah, this is the stage of the game where, like, Liquid, they've got a good start, but they're really, if they don't have Elder Titan in these fights, they can't really do a whole lot. Like, Vengeful Spirit and Disruptors, like, good at the early game laning stage, good in the kind of late game-ish stage, but they're not good at actually taking these constant fights. This is the kind of just, like, face rush type Dota that Na'Vi is showing, because Na'Vi have a spammable soul assumption. They've got Familiars now, and Sanking as well. Burrow Strike, a great spell.
Havos could be in trouble. He needs to leap quickly before a swap comes out, but the Familiars are there blocking him, and now it's Fluff. The turnaround comes, and it comes quickly. Fluff just gets blown up. Poor Liquid, just not really able to start these fights the right way. And while that's happening, Dendy, he had a really rough start mid. He's sure he had similar CS to Bulba, but he was down 15 denies to 2. Doesn't matter. Timbersaw just showing he's a fantastic catch-up artist and is a melee hero.
Boss getting down very low here in the bottom river, but
I was gonna fly.
This is where Liquid, they've got their 2 solo heroes, Razor as well as Elder Titan. Neither of them really good at controlling the tempo of the game. Neither can actually engage in.
There's no clockwork here. There's no puck.
Yeah, Liquid don't actually have an initiator apart from something like a Glimpse, but Glimpse is something you can't rely on reliably to actually initiate fights. So as for Na'Vi, they've got Sanking, Burrow Strike, they've got Templar Assassin traps to slow from afar. They've just got and they can just face rush. Like, they've got the mobility and the way to fight, whereas Liquid don't have the AoE stuns they need to take fights right now.
They don't have their team fight abilities yet either. Like, they don't have a point in Static Storm at 13 minutes in. And sure, I mean, it's not, you can't count on hitting a huge 4 or 5 hero Static Storm, but that's still a very potent team fight ability, and they just don't have access to it yet.
They're looking for a gank on top lane. Havos, he will get hit by the Thunderstrike. This means the Glimpse can come back up, and there we go, Glimpse. He hasn't used his leap. Nicely played by Havos. He saved the leap, but it's not going to matter regardless, and Liquid get themselves an important kill there, in my opinion.
They lose the Mirana, but they do take a tier 1 tower bottom, and I guess the question is, do Na'Vi look to defend this top tower? They're not in position for it. There is a glyph available along with the Moonlight Shadow, but they are showing no intentions of defending it, and this is where, for Na'Vi, they have some tanky frontline heroes, although Dendy is rotating top. not sure they're going to try.
Na'Vi can go for a counter push mid lane. Puppey just uses his stun, even has a point in the Caustic finale. This tier 1 mid tower for Liquid could go down here. They've got a glyph if they want to use it. Looks like we are going to see a tower trade go down. So Liquid get the tier 1 top. Puppey gets the tier 1 mid, and that's a lot of gold going his way. Suddenly he's got 1,400 gold. Dendy goes in. Oh, Dendy gets a solo kill. There's 5 Liquid heroes up top.
He's not done. He's looking for TC as well, but he's going to be in for a rude surprise.
Maybe a bit too much.
He thought everyone had TP'd out. He thought the push was over. They're all gone. Well, Liquid traveling in a pack. These boys are sticking together. They get a nice kill, but Funnick's free farming bottom. He's up to 2,300 gold, and I think what you pointed out is the biggest thing. If Puppey gets a Blink Dagger before the 20-minute mark, Na'Vi already have a frontline tank in the Timbersaw who can start fights. They have the Familiars and Arrow that are sort of safe ways to scout and initiate. Then they have a hero who jumps in and starts it with an AoE stun, and it doesn't matter if you have Glimpse. If your team gets 2-3 hero Burrow Strike, you probably just lose that fight
Na'Vi
anyway.
are going to lose this bottom tier 2 tower. All they're going to lose here is TC on the front line is going to get brought down fast. The Familiar Stuns are there, and
top lane. They're going on Havost here at the Spirit, but it's just, this is not the best way to get.
Only 2 heroes here, maybe with a swap.
They might find him though. Magic Missile,
nice
one more right click.
But they lose a tier 2 bottom tower. Na'Vi just, they saw all these Liquid heroes top, and they're like, wait a second, even with Dendy dead, we can just straight up push this tier 2 tower, and it was only Funnick showing himself. Sand King as well as Visage just went for a flank and a wraparound, so Liquid is still getting some okay trades here, killing off Havost again. He's 0-3 currently, but losing towers at this point, losing a lot of map control. Na'Vi definitely with a slight edge, and as the gold shows, it's a 5k gold lead right now. The experience not quite as big. That's where Liquid are kind of staying pretty close. They're getting the kills they need to not fall too far behind, but it's still a 2k experience lead for Na'Vi.
Yeah, I think if you look at Liquid right now, they still need some big items before they can effectively take clashes. BKB for the Luna is going to be essential. Has gone for an early Mask of Death, probably going Helm of the Dominator, but you're up against a lot of nuke damage and burst from Na'Vi, so TC will not be in fighting shape for some time unless they take smaller clashes, rely on Glimpse and Swap to do so. But outside of that, they don't have a mech yet on anybody, and Bulba is working towards a BKB, but actually, how close is he? Just has the Ogre Club, so I feel like you look at Na'Vi, and they're about to get big items for teamfight. The Blink Dagger on the Sand King, Havost just getting a Yasha, that's an item that definitely helps you immediately in fights, whereas Liquid, they don't have any of those big items to fight, so I'm a bit worried for Liquid if they try and take any clashes.
They're trying to just catch Havost by surprise. That
There's
seems to be
Dagger.
the new game plan. They're constantly trying game plan. Wow, 16 minutes. There's your
It seemed like they were losing that tri-lane, right? But here Puppey is. He says, I don't care. We'll just keep on fighting anyway, and he comes out with a 60-minute
You get all this tower
plan.
gold. Puppey even last hitting the middle tier 1 tower, and you get a lot of farm. He didn't even go for the arcane boots, got the cheaper tranquil boots, and he'll have that great initiation power now.
TC clearing the wave bottom. I guess the good news is this bottom lane is really pushed, so chances of him getting ganked are quite slim.
He did pick up this Morbid Mask, probably thinking, hey, I can get a Helm of the Dominate, but this point he's probably thinking, I need a BKB, and I need it now. I don't even think he finishes this. I think he just has to pick up the Ogre Club and work on the BKB as soon as possible.
If he gets a Helm of the Dominator, it means that he probably won't have BKB until like 23 minutes, and that's assuming he doesn't die, he manages to continue finding farm. And he's farming that BKB right during the window when Na'Vi, they've got the Yasha up on Havost, Dendy's completed his Bloodstone. Not too far off of Boots of Travel, and Na'Vi are just looking to fight. They've picked up the drums on Funnick. He's now got a Mithril Hammer. Could be a BKB, could just be a straight Deso. Seems to leave his options open for now. And either way, Na'Vi, all the combat items in the world, even the mech coming soon for the Visage. So, yeah, if you go for Helm of the Dominator here, I think your base is just dead before you ever complete the BKB.
Na'Vi can just work on tower after tower now with the Aegis up on Funnick on top of this. Glyph is being used, but I don't think Liquid can really engage into this.
Well, Fluff's lurking in the tree line like they want to. There's no BKBs on the cores yet. There's no mech up on the Elder Titan. He's skipping it. He's just going straight BKB in his own right. Interesting. I mean, you know Na'Vi want to fight right now, so either Liquid just... Well, they'll try and use BKBs to juke it out, but then they come Arrow to fly from Havost. Nails Bulba. Now the Familiar Stun follow-up should come, but they walked into a kinetic field. Will it be enough damage? It's not for now. Funnick's still alive. He's got your Aegis as well. Even if he goes down, he goes under cover of Melody's now hunting Fluff. He doesn't have Refraction. He'll pop the Aegis. Fluff, though, can he find his way out? Havost is chasing him. They've glimpsed Dendy back in. He Timber Chains right out of the fight. Still alive. He'll go down, too. Havost now on the run. It looks like for Liquid, they're actually doing a pretty good job of hanging on in this fight. 2 for 1, and they pop the Aegis, so good fight for Liquid.
Yeah, Na'Vi, I'm getting really overconfident there, it looks like. Even when that arrow hits, they walked into the Static Storm and some really well-placed disruptor kinetic fields as well, guaranteeing the safety of multiple heroes. And Losing Dendy there, losing your Sank, who just picked up a Blink Dagger, that's the kind of fight that Liquid really needed, and suddenly they bounce right back, and then they're still behind by a little bit, but if they can keep taking fights like this is definitely a good sign for Liquid.
And this Liquid lineup, they need BKBs desperately, but once they get them, that's most of Navi's damage out the window. Your TA has gone drums, not straight for big physical damage like a Chrysalis. Oh,
ooh, misses that
really, Dendy? Well, there's no tier 2 here, so he can actually dive this.
Yeah, if Puppey had another Blink stun very soon, so...
Normally that's way too aggressive for 19 minutes, but not this game.
Yeah. Well, there's smoke coming out from Liquid. Fluff going for the solo smoke here. He hasn't got any observer wards on him, at least not at the moment. So
yeah, he really does like to go for those. But I don't know if it's going to work. They glimpse back in Funnick, but he does manage to get off for Fraction. There's no static storm here. You have Boba dropping low. Almost dead.
Blink on the background. Puppey's caught out too. He brings down Disruptor as well as Luna. Now Koik in a bit of trouble.
There could be another Blink.
He's got that maximum movement speed for the time being when he had the phase on, and luckily for him, Astral makes him very, very speedy.
I think for Liquid, they're just lucky that Na'Vi have one pair of Arcane Boots, because if Puppey had mana for another Blink Burrow, which he just did now at the stick charges, he would have gone for another kill. He actually spots Fluff. Oh, he's going deep for this one, guys. No, not that deep.
No, the trap there as well. Bulba now. Bulba just feels like he can't do much. Razor just doesn't seem like a Bulba hero in a lot of ways, because he's...
Yeah.
It's just a very kind of passive way that you play this hero. Like, I would have liked to maybe have seen a fast mech on him as well. Like, sure, you need a BKB, but having a mech for your team for when you're fighting early definitely can help out a lot. That's like where you see like Razor and Vipers, even when they're in that 1-position role or a 2-position, they rush that mech just because the team really benefits from it.
Yeah, they went triple BKB build this game. They have yet to complete any, and I just feel like having a mech might have turned some of these early fights. So I'm not sure how much I agree with it, but at this point in Liquid, now the mech starts to kind of not matter as much, because TA is hitting really hard. You've got a lot of burst damage, and you need the triple BKB to take this towards the 30-40 minute mark. So at this point, it's water under the bridge for Liquid, but I feel like Na'Vi just one good fight away from taking Roche. They have the map control for it. Liquid, a decent lineup for scouting the pit.
Roche's not going to be out for some time still.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Like, looks like 3 to 5 minutes probably, so quite some time, but Na'Vi definitely have the map control where when it respawns, it's going to be tough for Liquid to contest, and they also just have good split pushers like this Mirana that, on paper, I think Liquid could punish for the Disruptor, but in practice, Havost has been getting a lot of farm despite a death here or there.
Yeah, Havost is farming well. Dendy's suddenly up to 2k gold, can pick up his Boots of Travel if he wants to, maybe wants to go back for the Plate Mail or a Ghost Scepter first, but definitely looks like a decent game to just get some Boots of Travel up nice and early, and Na'Vi are just ready to fight. Timbersaw going for a Vanguard.
Oh, interesting choice. I was going to say, oh, that's a mistake, but it's not, because he already has his Bloodstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dendy just wants to fight now, I guess.
I can see this being a pretty decent item.
It is. It's a little weird to get it after, because that's most of a BKB, which I feel like would do a lot more for him in these fights. But far be it for me to question Dendy. So let's sit back and see what the item offers. But yeah, I mean, that's like 2/3 of a BKB if he wanted to go for one. So we'll see.
Na'Vi now looking to pressure the mid lane. There's still 2 outer towers left on the Liquid side, and Na'Vi with no Aegis on their side do need to be a little bit careful about this push, but they've got the BKB on Funnick. They've got the Blink initiation from the Sanction from Puppey.
Now a Blink Burrow. It's going to catch out too. Puppey special over the top, and not something Liquid we're looking for. They get a low ground that clips off. Decent from TC. But all they've managed to do is kill off the Mirana here, so still a 2-for-1.
2 supports for the Mirana, though, so still a decent trade for Liquid. They force out the TA BKB as well, so with that, Na'Vi can still hang around and go for another fight, maybe. They've still got Epicenter, but...
They still got the Blink Burrow Strike, which is, to me, the big thing. So if they want to dive, they've got that initiation to do it.
It looked a lot worse for Liquid, though. When your 2 supports get Blink Burrow Strike caught out by their own, that should be just a 2-for-0 trade, but... Getting the Mirana is Liquid just making the best out of a really, really bad start to the fight for them.
Backdoor protection's about to wear off here as the creeps arrive at the middle lane. They're quickly dealt with. There's no Earth Splitter on Quick. They used it in the last fight. Otherwise, maybe that's even a setup to take this fight 4v5 before your teammate arrives. But TC's gone bottom. He is going for the BKB. He's skipping that Helm of the Dominator, which, at least for now, he can go back for it later. Definitely the choice he needs to make, in my opinion. But Na'Vi, they don't take the tier 2 mid, but they force out Liquid to defend it. They get a couple kills, a 2-for-1, and they just go back to farming. So still Na'Vi outmap controlling Liquid, and they do continue to outfarm them. Liquid is not the most mobile lineup, and then when there's a Blink Dagger Sand King afoot, you can't really go off on your own farming safely far from your own territory.
Yeah, it's only a 10k plus gold lead for Na'Vi. They're farming out the enemy jungle here with Havost in the Radiant jungle and other heroes, Familiar's Visage constantly farming as well. And then you've got Funnick pushing out top lane. Liquid just being pressured from all angles and not really having the space to get the items that they need. The BKB on Luna desperately needed, and it will be coming up fairly soon. But
Moonlight Shadow, I don't think TC's ready for this one, guys. He's close to the BKB. He doesn't have it yet. Arrow to fly. That's going to connect, and TC just dead to rights here. Meanwhile, on the backside, Dendi's come in along with Puppey. They found Bulba. He doesn't have BKBs. 500 gold away. They're all dying right before their BKBs.
And the
epicenter from Puppey looking for Koikfa. Won't
Not
get the
gonna
third kill, but that's 2 cores down for nothing lost for Na'Vi. And this is right as Roche is 2 minutes from respawning. They're going to take... Maybe they just go high ground here. I was thinking they'll just take the tier 2 mid, but hey, there's 2 cores dead. They don't have BKBs. Na'Vi are fearless.
You can spam a couple Astral Spirits, but it's going to be hard for Liquid to defend this. And this is 15 seconds. This should be at least a tier 3 tower. We'll see if they work on the racks. Is Puppey going to go in on Quake, but knowing how annoying and important this Elden Tide is, the swap from Fluff and stuff just to save his life. Now Fluff in a bit of danger. Nice Static Storm. Funny pops a BKB, but they've lost Elder Titan. Kuroki making sure of that one, and that's 45 seconds with no Elder Titan. And that, to me, is the most important hero to defend with for Liquid. They need the Astral Spirit spam. They also really need that Natural Order.
Yeah, they do have the Luna back online. Eclipse is available. There's no Static Storm in this fight either. They're going to go right in on Bulba. Grave kill him up. Dendi leaping forward, now retreating out. Just spamming Liquid down slowly but surely. At long last, the barrage overwhelms the tier 3. The tier 3 has fallen in game 1. Liquid will be your first team of the WePlay loser bracket finals to lose racks in game 1. They're on the Radiant side here, and losing racks in the bottom lane means Roshan, when it respawns, is almost guaranteed to go Navi's way. The road gets a lot tougher from here.
Yeah, absolutely. If they had that triple BKB up now, I'd say, okay, they've lost Raxes. It's very early to lose Raxes, but they're still in this with a decent shot. But there's nothing left for them. They can't farm their BKBs. Liquid are going to GG out, and Na'Vi take game 1 of the best of 5.
The last time we saw these teams play, I believe it was Liquid who defeated Na'Vi 2-1, I want to say, in the second group stage.
I want to say that was when Havos was playing game 1, but then game 2 he was playing Crystal Maiden because he had lag issues, and game 3 he wasn't playing at all. So Liquid won 2-1, but it didn't feel like it was the full Na'Vi in full force.
Yeah, it wasn't their full roster, but I imagine that gave Liquid some confidence. Then they went to Korea, did not have the best results versus Fnatic, lost to the same Tiny Wisp profit strategy twice, but here they are in game 1, guys. I thought the laning stage was actually going pretty well for them, mainly because they had a Disruptor, Vengeful Spear, tri-lane, which sure, Disruptor's gotten buffs. Venge can be strong if you're on the aggressive in the tri-lane, but come on, let's be honest. That was a Visage Mirana Sand King tri-lane. More AoE, more range, more pick-off potential, and they held their own there, but then Na'Vi just kept on fighting.
I think even with, like, you can say, let's say Liquid, they win the tri-lane, they got the first blood and all, but like their mid-game is just so much weaker. Like, Elder Titan is great and all. Razor's okay, but didn't really offer that much. You compare it to what all the nukes and just crowd control that Na'Vi have. They're just being outclassed in the mid-game based on the hero composition. And that's something where Na'Vi just picked a really well-rounded lineup. I think Liquid just got forced to go for that last pick Razor because they didn't want Elder Titan mid versus the TA. And as a result, they just had no actual good AoE teamfight heroes.
Yeah, and I want to point out with Liquid, we've seen them, I think, be very successful when they're able to roam a lot early, when Fluff can go for personal smokes, play some aggressive wards around that like 5 to 10 minute mark, when they even dual roam, when they're able to run like a greedier jungler for Way Too Sexy, that's when they've been at their most successful, but they had to go for tri-lane versus tri-lane, and their solo for Bulba was not like a comeback tempo controller kind of hero, so the combination of that cost them in game 1.
And that means Na'Vi take game 1. This is the best of 5, guys, so stay tuned. We have at least 2 more games coming your way, possibly even more, hopefully even more. So
what a series.
Yeah, what a
so
series.
We're only getting underway here, guys. Get your popcorn.
Loser bracket final. Winner of this goes on to verse Alliance in the grand finals. That's another best of 5, probably being played around next Sunday. It's not confirmed yet, but guys, stay tuned, because right now it's Na'Vi versus Liquid. Game 2 coming up shortly.